Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Derail Valley Simulator. I'm sorry. Today, as I had mentioned in the previous video, we're going to look at grabbing one of these orders and taking it to harbor and town. So first thing we need to do is come in here and kind of have a look and see what we can take and what's going to pay the best, because that's what we really want to do, is get the money from it. Looks like this one here is 14,000, but for one car more we got one here 17,000. Now, obviously, we could get a lot more if we did this one, but we would have to get the long 2, which you can't just get the long 2 without some prerequisites, so we're not going to be able to, first of all, afford it. But train length 1 is 10,000, and let's go down to train length 2 just to kind of look at it here. But okay, yeah, you first need to own train length 1 in order to buy this license. So let's go back, and what's the requirements to get train length 1? Oh, looks like we don't have to have any kind of prerequisites. So I mean, that's all great and everything, but we'll look at this again. The weight is 1,134 tons. Well, we've only got the DE2, and let's take a look here in our handbook. And according to the handbook, oh, there it is, right there on the first page. DE2 can only handle in rain, going up a 2% grade, 250 tons. So, I mean, 1,200 tons on flat ground in good weather. So that would even be pushing the limits for that, for good weather. And we got a lot of mountains. You haven't seen all the terrain yet if you don't already know the game. But yeah, we've got some pretty major mountains to conquer. So that's not going to be possible because it's pushing the limits on flat land in good weather. So we're going to go ahead, and if I can pick it up here, there we go. We're going to go ahead and take this one and run it over to the harbor in town. And if we can do it in time, then we can make probably a little over, well, close to 25,000. 16, 17, 9, 21, 2, 30. Yeah, close to 25,000. So let's go ahead and get back in our engine, and we'll get her fired up. And I don't know, I think if I remember right, no, this is not rails. This is steel coils and mixed freight. So we are not going to stay hooked up to these cars. But something else I wanted to address, if I can do that and still continue with work I need to do here. I had made some comments in previous videos regarding the buffers and chains. That's the European style of hookup. And I made a comment about having knuckle couplers in the United States, and I thought, well, I don't want to be spreading misinformation, so I went and looked it up on a popular search engine. Oops, gotta turn some switches. And what I found out is buffers and chains are not standard or legal for coupling cars in the United States as of, I believe it was 1893. And they are primarily known as Janey couplers. I think I'm saying that right, Janey couplers, or knuckle couplers, which is what I call them. But anyhow, so I did verify that what I was saying is according to this particular search engine. If you want to know which one that is, then well, we can we can talk in private, but I'm not going to say right now. But anyhow, that search engine did say that they are not. They're not only are they primarily used, but they can be illegal, considered illegal in the United States. So I was accurate on that respect. And then another comment I made, the difference between dynamic brakes and engine brakes, because I had mentioned something about truck drivers thinking, you know, engine brake, okay, well, that's like a Jake brake or some kind of other exhaust brake, or you know, a basically a brake that's similar to a dynamic brake on a train engine. The difference being on a train engine, it utilizes the vehicle's electric motors, also known as the traction motor, to create braking, and an engine brake uses engine resistance to airflow. So, I mean, they're similar in response, but different in design and use. So, you know, I want to be accurate on making comments, even if it is just kind of a fly by the cuff comment. I don't ever want anybody to think I'm just throwing out false information here. So I did look those up to verify that, you know, I'm not just sitting here blowing smoke. So anyhow, getting back to what we're doing right here. I don't remember, it says it's on A7L, and we know that's not the case. So we need to probably have a look. Basically, just kind of look around and see if we can find a bunch of cars hooked together that have rails on them. Because ultimately that's what we're looking for. So we'll back up here to these points before we cross the head point here. And we'll make sure which cars we're getting before we go driving on the tracks we don't know. I do have a tendency to ramble. I just don't really have a lot of you know, things to say, if you will. Regarding the game, because usually whenever I'm just playing for myself and just having a good time, oh, you know what, I bet these are it. I don't sit here and talk while I'm playing, and I've heard other YouTubers say before you actually start a YouTube video and stuff, kind of learn to talk while you're doing what you're doing, just to kind of get used to it. And these are our cars, and I never really practiced that because I'm just not a talker. So a lot of times I find myself rambling about useless information, sharing details and all that nobody's really interested in, probably. So if I get to rambling, sometimes that's most of my editing is editing out my crazy comments. So I'm going to try not to do that. So, I mean, there may be some dead spots where we're just working and not really discussing things. But again, as time goes on, you know, we'll develop hopefully a rapport. And we'll have some things to talk about. And maybe somebody will make a comment or whatever, and I can start addressing those comments in my next video. Currently I am about a day ahead on my videos, so if you knew what time I was recording this video right now, you'd probably wonder what's wrong with me. But it's about 3:40 in the morning on Sunday, so this video probably will get posted Tuesday morning. I'm trying to just post one a day because I don't want to overflood everybody and just make everybody sick and tired of seeing it. So but yeah, that's the current plan, is to try to do one a day. Now, you know, if things happen that I'm not expecting, or it looks like popularity gets really high, then, you know, I'm always up for entertaining different thoughts. Because I mean, I have no time constraints. So I can basically record a video at basically any time I want to do it or have the free time. So that's not an issue. Alright, that one didn't roll too far, so that's good. Probably because they're loaded, so they don't have a lot of freewheeling. Let's get over here. There we go. Alright, that separated out good. So, and it just occurred to me, I just messed up. I hooked up on the wrong end of these things. But that's okay. I think we got other cars behind us, so we'll put these on the track, on the main track. Go and turn our engine. Because I just don't know if I want to try to drive the whole way there with the engine facing the wrong way. And since we don't have the multiple unit license yet, I can't put another engine behind. Because that's generally how I prefer to play. Is I like to put one engine in the front facing one way and the other engine in the back facing the other way. Preferably an engine of the same design, due to the motors and all that and how they work. Some are geared engines and some are, well, you can't use the geared engine in multiple unit, but like the DH4, it's a manual. I'm not exactly sure what to call it, but it uses a manual. Now let's see if I can look it up here. Let's see, it is, yeah, it's got torque converters, automatic torque converters, so hydraulic transmission, whereas this engine has the diesel electric traction motors. So they respond differently to heat. One, if you blow it up, you've got to replace a bunch of transmissions and torque converters. The other one, if you blow it up, you reset a fuse at least a couple times, and then if you blow it up for good, you got to replace an entire traction motor. So again, one of those things I vaguely know just enough to get in trouble, but not enough to get out of trouble by trying to share information, so I'll just shut up about it because I don't want to say something wrong. Lots of people out there probably know a lot more about traction motors and torque converters and all that than I would ever know, and that's fine. I'm happy to say I don't know, because I've never been really smart whenever it comes to mechanics and all that good stuff. Alright, so I know this could be done a different way, but this far away I hate using that radio because it's not real easy for me. Some it might not be too bad, but as I mentioned before, I kind of have a little bit of a problem with my hands and holding them still. And we'll leave that one like that. No, we won't, because we got to run around, so we'll need to set that one back out and put this one in for our run around. Alright, so jump back in the engine. And let's back these back up on the main. I'm trying to ease into it because I don't want to overpower it and end up getting wheel spin. But, oh, what did I look at that? The weight, 285. So, I mean, we're a little over if it starts raining. Because if you'll recall, it was 250 tons on wet 2% grade. So, and I didn't look at the weather in the train station, so maybe when we go back inside and get our order validated, maybe we can take a look at the weather and see what we're coming up against. Hopefully the weather will stay good, but I've done plays, save games and stuff where it has rained 90% of the time. So weather is very unpredictable, and there are clouds in the sky right now, so that presents that little degree of unpredictability. Alright, I think we're far enough in here. I can just leave these right here. Alright, let's stop now. Okay. Yeah, I mentioned before that I'm using controllers, but the controllers I'm using aren't necessarily designed for a game like this. They're designed for farming. Matter of fact, that's what they're called, is a farming control units. So it's not precise, but it gets by. It gets me by. It's just a matter of me remembering what I programmed to each button that I use, and got a throttle controller that is similar to what they would use in a control stand on a locomotive, but it's not exactly the handlebar. It's more of a yoke. I mean, I don't know. That's what you'd call it. It's not the joystick. But what it would be used for in farming is to control the machines for forward and reverse. So it's kind of a throttle, but not necessarily a one-way throttle. It'd be more of a two-way throttle with an indent. So push it forward, it's forward, push it back, it's reverse. So I'm kind of using it in a single direction for just always full throttle to empty throttle or zero throttle. So it still has that indent where it won't increase or decrease, it just moves but no reaction. So that's kind of touchy whenever I'm trying to be very careful and not to spin the wheels. So it's been a matter of learning. Matter of trying to learn. And alright, that's got us directed towards that turntable. But yeah, if we didn't turn the engine, this is how we'd be driving all the way to harbor, and I'd rather be able to at least see the speed without having to sit there and drive with one eye this way and one eye this way. So that's why we're turning the engine. May seem unnecessary, but it'd just be more comfortable. I don't want to go having any wrecks or derails or anything like that. Even though this is called Derail Valley, I don't want to go and prove the name of the game. But yeah, if you haven't seen this before, we're getting ready to go do some mountain climbing. So it's going to take every bit of this engine's ability to make the hills, so we'll really have to be on top of our game with just one engine. And of course we are using comfort difficulty, so I mean it's not a problem worrying too much about blowing the traction motors, but again we don't want to get into practices that are going to be bad practices. So I still want to try to, oh good grief, I still want to try to maintain some degree of realism so that I'm not I was already in reverse, going to end up blowing a traction motor as soon as I change the difficulty as we progress. Because over time I do plan on increasing the difficulty just for a little bit more of a challenge. But to start off with, we're just going to play comfort level. Get a couple licenses built up under our belt. Get some experience. You know, and I know I've played other games. I mean, of this particular game, I've played other save games. So it's not that I haven't ever done it in standard mode, but I just generally this is the way I start out. Start light and then work our way into heavy haul. Now, of course, moments like these where I'm just doing something and there's a bunch of dead air, if I was doing Farming Simulator, I'd probably turn it into a time lapse. But I just think the gameplay kind of flows differently with operating trains. And I don't know that I'll ever really do any kind of time lapse on this particular type of play. But all options are open. It's just a matter of what feels right at the time. But as a general rule, that's not my plan. Alright. I mean, if you didn't see that needle, there's a needle right here that kind of tells you your traction motor temperature, but it says ampere. I'm sorry, that's the ammeter. The temperature's up here. But if you look at it, whenever I first try to apply the throttle, I try to just do one indent at a time, and it almost shoots up into the yellow. I mean, that shoots up there quick. So you overdo your amps, you're going to end up having a wheel spin, or you're going to end up blowing a traction motor. And that is not... Oh, let's change this track. Do it. Whew. That was close. But, yeah, no, I want to be more realistic than that. And so I'm not going to take advantage of being in comfort mode and abuse the engine like that. Even though we could get away with it right now, just standard practices and best practices, no matter the difficulty level. Well, that steel roll car beside us here to our right, that must be that 1,100 ton load. That's got to be some heavy weight. That kind of stuff right there on a semi truck probably would just be one roll per trailer. Oh, did I not? Nope, I didn't. Why did I get out? Gotta go past the points. Okay. Now wait a minute. That's already set for. I must have. You know what? I know what it is. I was looking at the wrong tracks. We were already past these points. We were on these whenever I got out and thought we were on the other ones. Okay. Let's go back. And as I mentioned once before, I turned the volume down so that I barely hear myself. Unfortunately, the way all my software is adjusted and set up, if I turn my headset down so I don't hear my voice because I can't stand hearing myself, I can't hear my gameplay either, and I rely heavily on listening to the engine. And I really can't hear it with the headset turned down, so you'll have to bear that in mind. You know, if I do make any mistakes, it very well could just be that I can't hear it. I'm trying to learn how to play by visual cues, and that's another reason why I like to drive in this method right here, so that I can see that control stand. We need to be slowing down. But I'm having to kind of adjust my methods and stuff to kind of fit my style that I have to have practice in order to make a good video, or at least try to. I don't know that it's going to be good, but I try. I don't just do this without any kind of pre-thought. Oh, we were close. Alright, I'll throw that in neutral. Get out and we'll hook this car up. Run down the train, and I check the train way more than probably most people think would be necessary. But I just always like to make sure that everything is set in order. And even though we just pulled these cars, I still have a tendency to double check all the couplers to make sure that they're staying intact. Just depends on what my particular brain set makes me do at that particular moment. Kind of goes back to my trucking days. Whenever I used to drive over the road, I never pulled away from somewhere without doing a tug test, because I did not trust that nobody was messing around with my truck. Alright, so our time is 96 minutes, and it begins now. So we need to make sure and get some hustle on here. Now, again, this is one of those measure twice, cut once kind of things, but I'm going to run through and check all these car numbers. And as you can see, it's already starting to get dark. So we're getting ready to lose some daylight. That's 671, and we're not on the right train. Good grief. Alright, so CFF 090 965. Order doesn't really matter, I've noticed. It's more important that present, just that they're in the consist, and that every car is within the track limits. of what the order calls for. So let's head to Harbor Town, and we do not have the dispatcher mod, so we're just going to have to do it as we go, which I want to make sure the first thing we're going to do is we need to stay left. So lefts all the way up till we have to take a right. So we'll just keep checking the map as we go, and that is one thing I do a lot, so I hope that doesn't annoy anybody. But I am constantly checking my map as we progress. And if you can see on that amp meter, or ammeter, whatever it's called, I always try to keep it under that yellow. Now I know going into the yellow is kind of like a safety zone. You know, it's basically saying you're okay, just be careful because you're getting close to making a mistake. So I try to just stay out of that yellow zone if I can, and still pick up speed. Let's see, what's our lights? Oops, I'm just looking at the... Alright, well, it doesn't really matter what the backlights are. I usually try to keep them on the single red or double red depending on the engine. But we're getting ready to have, I think we're getting ready to have a hill coming up, and it's going to be a pretty good grade, so we really need to get some speed built up here. And it did say stay left, and that's already set to the left. So I just hope we have enough speed under our belt before we get up here, because it's already going to a plus 0.6 as that sign indicated. Alright, we're at full throttle. Might have to turn some sand on here shortly. But it seems to me like this goes over a 3% grade all in total. I just hope I gave myself enough headway to get up enough speed to make this. Otherwise, we're going to be backing all the way back down and going to have to try to get a further head start on it. Okay, and there's a +1, so that'll be a total of 1.6. And it looks like we're handling it good, so that's a good start. But right as you look like you're getting to the top of the hill, that's whenever the big increase comes, if I recall right. Right around this next bend. Yeah, the 1.3, so 1.6 and 1.3 is going to be a 2.9, so that's almost a 3% grade. And we're going to start seeing our temperature climb, which means we'll have to start backing off the throttle, and that's exactly what you don't want to do going up a hill, just to have to back off the power. Oh, we didn't look at the weather. I was wanting to do that and I didn't check it. So let's just hope it stays dry, because it seems like we're doing really good here. Left and left and left. Alright, all lefts. But yeah, this is doing pretty good going up this hill. Now if it was wet, situation may not be quite the same, but it does look like there's rain out there. So, I don't know. I hope we make it to harbor and town before all that gets here. And I don't think there's a way to check the weather on the road. I think you got to be at the station. Okay, these 5s and 12s, these speed signs right here, they're in 10s. So if it says 6, that means 60 kilometers per hour. So we're well within our speed range because we're only about 30 to 35 miles an hour, or kilometers an hour. And you can hear that engine really trying. Up, and we're getting ready to increase grade again. Now I don't know if that's 1.2 plus the 2.9 we already were at, because I thought we kind of leveled off some. So I don't know what the grade is in total, other than it's going to be going up 1.2%. Wow, I can't believe it. We're already at 36 minutes. I didn't realize it'd been that long. Yeah, these freight haul videos, they might be a little bit longer than a regular shunting video because, you know, if we're going to show the whole job going from town to town, then not going to be really a whole lot I can cut out. But if I ever start seeing comments, hey, can we just get the abbreviated version of the drive between one town to the other, then, you know, maybe I'll start cutting more out of them. And if people would rather do like a time lapse on it, then I guess that's a possibility too. Like I said, I'm open to all options. I'm not opposed to any ideas. So if anyone has any suggestions or thoughts, you know, feel free to provide that information to me. You know, I'm not necessarily going to try to shape my gameplay and my enjoyment around a lot of different thoughts, but I want to at least give consideration to them. And this is a me thing, but I've always understood that there was a rule at one time that you had to make some kind of a bell or a horn sound, either as you're approaching or as you're leaving a tunnel. I don't know if that's still a standard rule or not, but we don't have a bell on this engine, so horn's pretty much all I can do. But even though I know in the game there's no way possible somebody would be on the tracks, I still kind of like to, you know, provide that realism. Even if it is just for my own entertainment. Alright, I'm going to check the map here again. And where are, oh my goodness, where did I mess up? How did we end up down there? I thought we went to the, I thought we followed it to the left. I messed up big time. Oh well, hopefully we still have enough time to make up for this little detour. But what we do need to do, I think, is we need to stay to the left coming up. Oh no, we're just going through the forest. That's right, so never mind. We'll just stay on the center track here. Yeah, see, I was thinking I was supposed to be going this way. That would be the more direct route. But somehow my mind got confused and I wasn't paying attention. And instead of staying off to the left, we ended up going to the right, and now we're down here. So we'll need to go left and follow the southern route here, which is just a little bit longer, but hopefully, you know, hopefully not unrecoverable as far as time goes. But we do need to slow down because we are approaching the 60 and we're over 50. And I think I just said stay left. Yeah. This train does not have any kind of engine braking, so it's completely on the wheel brakes. And these brakes are self-lapping, so if you apply and then let off a little bit of pressure, oops, we change this. I hope I can do it. Oh man, I'm on the. Ooh, I went right. Oh, man. Oh, and it's 20. Ooh. I have never derailed before, and I hope I don't. Ooh, that was too close. It felt like our rear end was spinning out from under us. I don't know how we didn't lose that. Do we still have all our cars? Yeah, they're all on there. Wow, man. How did we get outside of the engine? I don't know how that happened. Oh, we gotta let off them brakes. That light we see, that green light over there to our left, I believe that's going to be City South. Nope, nope, that's the forest again. We're far away from City South still yet. Alright, let's give her some sand. But as you can see, we're getting up into the high heat, which is exactly what I did not want to do. Left those brakes on for just a little bit too long, and that may have ended up costing us. I might have to back up and take this hill again, because I think we're coming to a complete stop. Yeah, we're done. Oh my goodness. I'm not so thrilled about that. Shut the sand off so we can preserve that. And look at that. Now I don't have any lights because it shuts them off whenever you put it in a different gear. Switch them back around that way. Right now we're just free rolling, so really got to pay attention to the speed because it was 20 at this junction. And I do not want to be falling off any bridges today. Take advantage of this slight incline. Are we in gear? I think we are. Yeah. But see, if I was driving the other way, this is what I'd be doing all the time, is turning around looking at the gauges. But we'll take advantage of the fact we do have a slight incline here, and hopefully that'll help give us some uphill motion. Although we still got that speed restriction we're gonna have to think about, so can't just blast through here. We gotta keep that in mind. I don't know, it might be better to just back all the way up to the junction back up there and go the other way, but before we do that, we'll give this a try first. Okay, I'm gonna give that a go. Before we can change direction, we've got to come to a complete stop because I don't want to blow the traction motors. Alright, here we go. Go ahead and apply some sand so that we have some traction for when we start this grade. Now, just because our engine gets through the 20 kilometer an hour zone doesn't mean that we can bump it up as high as we want, because we still got to wait for the end of the train to get through the zone. We will kind of push our, push it a little bit here, but I don't want to get too overly crazy with speed. Alright, let's go. Let's give her a go. And we are nearly throttled up. Alright, that's full throttle, so if she's going to do it, she'll do it, but if not, then it ain't going to matter what we do. It's a dead end battle. I don't normally take this southern route, so I'm not even really sure how long this grade lasts. But we're already creeping up on temperature. I think we're gonna make it. It's starting to level out. Try shutting down the sand. Well, no wheel spin, so I guess we must be pretty safe at this point. Alright, so the next thing coming up will be a right. We definitely need to make sure and go right because that's our last turn into the harbor. I know what really probably ended up catching me back there was that I put on way too much brake because of that 20 kilometer an hour zone. And I don't know if you felt it or saw it too whenever we came around even after the second attempt, but it still felt like the rear end kind of went out from under us. So I think that was more of a trying to save the train thing, and I ended up giving it way too much brake for too long. Otherwise we would have just done just fine. So that all is operator error, completely and totally my fault. Train could have made it if I would have operated it properly. I know the speed is 70 kilometers, but I don't like to generally get up that fast whenever I'm just running one engine. because it always scares me thinking that I'm going to end up overdoing it and coming down a grade that I can't slow down on. What town is that up to the left? That's CMS. Oh, I was looking at my location wrong again. Oh my goodness, I need to get back in practice. These 9, let's see, CMS, that's going to be... I can't read those. It's not City South. Oh, here it is. I can't read that. City Mine, Coal Mine. Huh, Coal Mine South. Whoop. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that's Coal Mine South, so we're nowhere near where I was thinking we were. But at any rate, we still need to stay to the right. For some reason, I saw this down here and I thought that was our indicator, and I'm just totally messing up here. And I did not see which way. Okay, we needed to stay to the right, and that is set to the right, so good. But let's start giving some brake, because I don't know. 70. Okay, we're good. And then immediately 60. That makes absolutely no sense to me. The speed limit before the junction is 70, and then right after the junction, I mean, you haven't even left the turnout yet, and it's already down to 60. Why didn't they just make it 60? I've seen some turnouts where they say 120 as you're entering the turnout, and then immediately afterwards it's 90. That just doesn't make any sense at all. How are you going to pick up a speed all the way up to 120 kilometers an hour and then shut it down to 90 in that short distance? Seems to me like it would just be easier on your equipment if you just plan for the lower speed and just set it up for that, and not even bother trying to do that 120. Oh, 50 or 80. I don't know why that looked like 50. One thing I wished I had on this was wigwags. I realized that in real life a lot of engineers don't care for those automatic wigwags at intersections, or I guess intersection lights, ditch lights, whatever you want to call them, but I kind of like them. I think they're pretty cool. I don't want to have a runaway. Whenever I was a truck driver, I always heard you can go down a hill too slow 1,000 times, but only too fast once. So I kind of live by that rule. I'd rather do it 100 times too slow than too fast one time. I hate not being able to see around these corners like that. Okay, how close are we getting? Oh, we're not even anywhere near City South. I mean, I guess that's it up down there, off to our right, but or I mean our left. It looked like our right, but we were going around a bend, so ultimately ends up on our left. It is quite a bit questionable, though. My very first run on the road, and even though I've done this before, I still end up going the wrong way. So that kind of draws into question my abilities, and I wouldn't blame me for having those questions. I don't know what I saw that made me think we were going to the correct direction. But it obviously wasn't. Now, whenever we start getting demonstrators and getting all that kind of stuff, part of the part of the game that's outside of just the train operating section of the game, over here to our left, you can kind of see what looks like a dome. Or did we pass it? No, we didn't pass it yet. No, I don't see it now. Oh, there it is. Right over there, that kind of round building, that's the museum. And that's where we'll go to repair if we start doing all those collectibles or demonstrators, I guess they call them in this game. But that's where we'll go to park all of our demonstrators to work on them and get them roadworthy. But that's several $100,000 and several hours down the road. You gotta have the licenses to drive the engine before you can collect it. And if you're looking for me to ever drive a steam engine, I'm not really sure. I've never done that on this game yet. There's so much to it. And I don't know. I mean, I'll get the license so we can collect the demonstrators. But as far as driving them goes, I don't know. We'll just have to see when the time comes. I love watching steam engines, don't get me wrong, I love them. I got several of them on my electric trains. But driving them in the game, there's a lot involved. And I dare say, which this is going to sound crazy since this is a simulator, but it's too real for me. You spend more time looking at the inside of a boiler than you do the road, and I'm just a eyes on the road type of person. I don't know if I have the fortitude to be able to handle driving blindly pretty much most of the time. I mean, yeah, they've got it where you can kind of lean out, but see, even that presents its problems. You go around the corner and, it's just too many view blocks in my opinion. But that would be realistic. I mean, that's how it is on the actual thing. So no fault there. They did a good job with simulating real life. I don't even really care for driving the DE6 on this, even though it's a locomotive, not locomotive, a diesel engine. It has some view blocks that I don't care for. Now once you get the dispatcher mod, you can set your switches, you know, through this map right here. But I still like to have a visual confirmation of the turnout before I get to it, just in case I manage to make a mistake, because those do happen, and with me quite a bit. As you noticed, we wouldn't be where we are right now if it wasn't for that. We'd have already been to harbor in town if I would have done it right. But now we're getting ready to get to where I thought we were earlier. So, oh, I didn't, yeah. Alright, so our time is 15:22, so that's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I need to be slowing down. I think we're at 60. So yeah, I mean, we should be okay on time, because I don't think we're anywhere near 3 o'clock yet. I mean, it's not even daylight. But we are going into EI, or E8I. So looking at the map, we're going to come in from here and drive through all this and straight ahead to the outlying yard, and E8 would be to our right. And again, it's an I track, so hopefully it's clear and we can just pull straight through. Alright, so we need to stay to the right up here. Yes. What brakes are on? Oh, we just came down a hill, so my brakes were still on. And it looks like we're set to go to the right, so good. I don't know why, but that is so blurry to me. I mean, yeah, you can see the signs, but it's just like a fog. That may be the way it's set up, I don't know. Maybe my eyes aren't bad, and that's the way it's intended to be. Now, harbor and town, if I make any mistakes there, I am really messing up, because if I have any experience in this game, that would be the place that most of my experience is, because I have shunted a lot of loads, and it seems like everything about this game is directed towards supplying the harbor and town, or harbor and what, I don't know. Yeah, harbor and town. Hey, slow down. Speed limit was 40. Alright, once we come off this hill here, we should be looking at the military side of town, or close to it. We don't have the license to go into the military part, so we won't get to look at it, but it'll be off to our right. Once we start getting all the licenses for it, those will be some pretty good paying loads. But where all those red lights are, and then over to our right here, that's pretty much the military installation. And you gotta have a license to enter it. Alright, so what we want to do is make sure all of our points ahead of us stay directed towards the main line. So we can continue to pass straight through town until we get to the outer yard, which will be E. And then we'll go off to our right for 8. Fighting E8I. And over here is the roundhouse. That's where our we'll come and look later. Once we get the MU license, we'll look and see if there's a DE2, which it looks like that might be one. I can't tell if it's a E2 or a H4. But it looks like there's a couple DH6s over there, and then a SO or an S282. I can't tell. But I don't think it's an 06 because it's got front front wheels. That's got to be the 282. Yeah, I count 4, so that's got to be the 282. Can't remember what they call it, guide wheel or a I'm not sure. I used to know what that was called, but I think the rear one they call it a drag axle or a drag wheel. And the front one I think is the guide wheel. I don't know. It's been so long and I forgot more than I remember about trains. But I used to know all those fancy little terms. Alright, so looking at the road ahead of us, it looks like there's cars sitting on E8I. So if we can get that light, oh, there we go, get that switch to switch. And it's the first one off to the right, so that's got to be E8. We won't take that. But we will take the next one, because, oh no, that is the right one, so we're good. So this is E8 right here. You'll see the sign to the right is the one we got to look at. And you can see that little arrow right there pointing to this track. I was for some reason thinking 8 was the first ladder or step off the main, but it's not. It's the second, E8. I think we're going to be good on time, even though we took a detour. Looks like we should be able to get this turned in on time, and yeah, we're probably go ahead and shut her down right now because I'm going to stay hooked to these cars, because the next time we come together we might just go ahead and do the shunting job for this load. Once we come to a full stop, we'll just shut everything down. We'll probably just stay parked to the or hooked to the train. And see, the kill switch is right there. Okay, is this door shut? Nope, I need to lock it. Alright, now even though we're going to stay hooked to it, we still, in order to fulfill the job requirements, have to set a brake. And we'll run on up here, turn this order in, turn this order in, and that'll be it for this video. Okay, EAI, we got all that done, so I think we're, yep, very good. And 26,000. So just under 27, I think is what I said. I don't know. But that puts us at 76,000 before fees. And we should only have to pay 100. Even though it says 1256, it says needs you to pay 100 to clear. So we'll go ahead and take care of that, and we're still over 76,000. So there we go. And if we look over here, right here in the front, we should have a shunting order. And look at that, it pays 21,000 to shunt it. There's only 17,000 to bring it all the way over here from the steel mill. And we get 108 minutes as opposed to 96. So, I don't know. I didn't realize the shunting jobs were so lucrative, but definitely must be. But for now, that is the end of our video for the day. And as you can see here, the harbor in town is a major hub. That's why I spend so much time here. But for now, we'll go ahead and call that a day. It's been just a little over an hour and 10 minutes. If you've stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. And I hope you'll like and possibly even subscribe. And look at that, July 22nd, my daughter's birthday. And it almost is July 22nd in real life. It's the 20th, so we're really not that far off in real life. But anyhow, I appreciate you sticking around for this long if you've made it all this way. And until we come together again, have a great day and stay safe out there.